by Harun Yahya. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights is the first document to regulate human rights and freedoms. It has been 70 years since its declaration, yet myriad new conventions and documents have been issued on the subject. Among these documents, there are also exclusive conventions and documents aimed at women, children and people with disabilities aside from human rights in general. The European Convention on Human Rights comes into prominence among the aforementioned documents for both its content and its inclusion of a control mechanism regarding its implementation. What renders this convention important, however, is the determination displayed by all the contracting states of the convention towards compliance with the values of human rights and making progress in this regard. Now the African countries are striving for bringing forth their own human rights document, the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, or the African Charter, in short. And certain Western nations with a history of slaughtering Africans and snatching them away from their homelands for enslavement appear to be the foremost advocates of a forced labor ban. It is our hope that this situation does not give way to a new policy of colonizatio, and that it leads to positive steps to be taken for Africa. The African Charter was recognized by the Organization of African Unity in 1981 and came into force in 1986. Today, over 50 countries have signed and ratified the Charter. Some of its properties separate the Charter from the European Convention on Human Rights and the American Convention on Human Rights. Africa's history and the concern to preserve the culture and existence of myriad non-national communities render the first three items understandable. However, the fourth item draws a line between all these, the expression stating that various methods can easily restrict the implementation of the Charter is quite disconcerting. Although it is a fact that this expression was included with certain reservations in mind, it is crucial that this situation does not take on a form that will grant certain privileges to different groups. Africa is indeed fraught with problems on many fronts. African countries are faced with numerous internal conflicts and as a result, we encounter widespread human rights violations. Establishing a mechanism by keeping this situation in mind is one of the more positive aspects of the Charter. However, it is highly important that these mechanisms are not exploited. In the case of widespread violations, a specially assigned commission can investigate the violation claims under the name of special case and refer the issue to the Pan-African Parliament if necessary. If the Pan-African Parliament reaches a decision, the Commission then can investigate the claimed widespread violations and present a report on the issue. To date, the Commission has accepted important decisions on subjects such as free elections, fair trial, conditions of arrest, torture and capital punishment. Another one of the most significant developments in Africa with regard to human rights is the foundation of the African Court of Justice and Human Rights.